Hi there. Okay, so, hey Jamil. Good morning, almost after, well, no, still early morning. Um, Good morning, Wits Going Global, Michelle. I see people are popping on for your midday inspirational life scope. I wanted to share something today. Good morning, 19, A Gloria. A couple days ago, if you guys were with me on my late night scope or my late scope or whatever you want to call it, I talked a little bit about the shift, and I talked a little bit about how I just kind of feel, and I've been feeling this way for about a year now, that there's kind of like this shift going on in this. Good morning. That there's this shift that's going on and it's taking place. And initially I thought like if you weren't there, last August, my husband and I went to Miami for our anniversary. And I remember being on the balcony in our room and looking out on, good morning, Dee. I remember looking out on the balcony and feeling this shift, feeling like where I was and what I had experienced or whatever I was going through in my life, that there was this shift, there was this transition. Hey, greatness. Love you. And so I knew, and I didn't really know what it meant. I thought, to be honest, that we were moving. Like, okay, so God has given me this shift, that we can move, keep the hearts coming. If as I start talking, this is resonating with you. But I felt like, okay, well, maybe we're moving, maybe we're shifting to somewhere else, whatever. And so as time kept going on, I'm a part of a group called Women in Spotlight Going Global, and actually the founder, she's actually here. So if you haven't joined and you're like an awesome woman, you want to join that group. And so we had actually did like a 3-day series on shifting, and we've just really been talking about that. But I had personally been feeling about a shift, and I wasn't even really sure what it meant. And lately I've been feeling it even more, that something in my spirit is saying that you need to get ready to shift. And it may not necessarily be a physical shift. It could be a shift in your marriage. It could be a shift in your title, as in your job. It could be a shift in your career. It could be, good morning, DJ Dean Michaels. It could be a shift, in your business, in how you do your business, a shift in your own personal life and how you look at things and how you think about things. And so I had talked a little bit about that a couple days ago. And what I wanted to do was talk a little bit today about how you recognize the shift, because a lot of times people feel this uneasiness. They feel something and they don't really know what it is. And so I'm here to tell you that that you're probably shifting. What I will say is that it's not going to be an overnight process. You're not going to wake up today and say, oh, I feel the shift, and tomorrow you have transitioned into whatever you're shifting into. It's a process. And so the first thing that I want to share with you is you want to notice, and I wrote some notes this time. A lot of times I'll just kind of free flow because that's just kind of how I go, whatever the spirit gives me. But I really wanted to make sure I was giving you some really good stuff this morning. As we really transition, we're in the second half of the year. We're in July. This is, month 7, which is all about the month of completion. If you know anything about the number of 7, the number of grace, not the number of grace, that's 5, the number of completion, the number of perfection. And so you are in the process of maybe completing some things this month. And so, you're, decluttering, getting rid of some things. And so the first thing that I want to teach you about with recognizing, the shift and keep the hearts coming is notice the change in the people around you. Here's the thing. You'll notice that some of the people maybe you're used to hanging around, or some of the people who have been in your life, they don't fit anymore. And it's not good, bad, but it's different. And you notice it, and you're feeling like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm changing. Maybe there's something going on. You get it. Yep. See, you feeling it, Michelle. And you're like, maybe, you start to question you, like there's something wrong with you. And you're like, okay, is it me? And the reality is it is you, but it's not a bad thing. It's really just the fact that you are shifting, you're transitioning, you're up leveling in your life, and you just notice that you don't fit in anymore. You notice that the things that you used to be cool with, you're not cool with anymore. And it's not even that you don't like it. It just doesn't feel right anymore. The other thing that I have is that, when where you are doesn't seem like where you're supposed to be, right? You're in this place, and I gave this example a couple nights ago on my late night scope, where when I came back from my first master's program, I did an abroad program, not an abroad program, it was a fellowship program out of New York City in Baruch College. And when I came home, I remember going to my church at the time. You feel it, Esther, right? And I remember stepping foot into my church and realizing that my time there was done. Now, mind you, I didn't leave that church until I got married, like some 2 or 3 years later. But I felt the shift when it happened. And so for some of you, your initial shift is you feeling what's going on. There's this uneasiness. Yes, keep the hearts coming. There's this uneasiness going. There's you just feel it. There's the people around you, they don't fit anymore. As you're up leveling your thinking, they're not. As you're up leveling, your experiences and the people who you're hanging around and the things that you're doing, they're not. They don't get it. And it's not their fault. I'm just here to tell you it's not about a blame game. It's not any of that kind of stuff. It's really just a simple fact that you're shifting and you gotta recognize it. And the other thing that I said is places you used to go, like they don't do it for you like they used to. You feel you've outgrown the people and the environment. I'm just looking at my notes that you're used to. And here's the thing, you're not even sure where you're going next. It's kind of like this thing where you don't fit in where you are, but you don't quite fit in where you're going. Right? You don't fit where you are, but you don't fit where you're going because you're not really there yet. I'm here to tell you just to stay the course. It means that you're shifting, and shifting is all about movement. And it's not necessarily about moving literally and physically. It's really, the first thing is you got to move mentally, you got to move emotionally, and you got to move spiritually. Let me say that again. You have to move mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. There has to be an internal shift before there can be an external shift. Ooh, that was good. That was juicy. You need to give me some hearts for that right here. Give me some hearts. Give me some hearts. There has to be an internal shift before there can be an external shift. Yeah, there they go. Contentment in the journey with the growing. Absolutely. You got to have contentment in the journey, because the other part is you got to be in that present moment, right? You got to be present in that moment and really take in the journey. We focus so much on the destination that we always forget about the journey, to enjoy the journey. And to be honest, I have been one of those people in these last maybe like 4 or 5 years. And really for me, this last year, as I've transitioned out of some stuff in my life personally, I have learned to slow down. I have learned to really enjoy my life, my marriage, my child, my family, my friends. I've learned to stop trying to be all things to all people. I've learned to stop trying to be everywhere that I know that I can't be, places that maybe I just can't afford right now. And I'm just trying to be there because I feel like I need to be there. But I'm learning to slow down. And part of that, I think, is part of my shift. I'm shifting out of people pleasing and approval and all of that other kind of stuff and getting to a place of being where God wants me to be. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, you have to be in tune mentally, and really focus on getting your mind right for this transition, getting your emotions together, managing your emotions. And maybe what I'll do on another, Periscope, I'll kind of break this up and I'll talk about some of the shifts that you need to take mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in order for you to be ready for the physical shift. Right? The other thing that I have here, let me just look at my notes. Do you mean meditate? You can meditate. I think part of preparing for the shift is getting quiet. It is quieting yourself, quieting your spirit. If you're a prayer, praying to God and letting God speak to you. However it is that you get quiet, journaling, all of those things help you to prepare for the shift. Because a lot of times stuff is happening so fast that we do not, hey, Dr. Dear, love you, Soror, that we don't take time. Life around us is going so fast that we feel like we have to keep up. And let me just tell you, a couple of days ago, I took a 7-day break from social media. And really it was just because God was speaking to me. And literally in my prayer time, he says, you're off social media for the next 7 days. And I was like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, I gotta be, and he was like, no, you're off social media for the next 7 days. You don't have to let folks know you're not gonna be online. You don't have to, put a posting on and say, hey, everybody, I'm not gonna be here. If you need me, inbox me. He says, no, you're just off. And I started to kind of like an addict. Like, I started to get like twitchy. Like, well, what do you mean I can't be on social media for 7 days? And I didn't tell anybody. And the funny part is that some people missed me and some people didn't. And here's the thing. This is the reality of it. And I'm actually shifting my conversation just a little bit. The things that you think are so important in your life, or you think people are going to miss certain things about, they're not going to miss. He spoke that to me yesterday morning and told me to just stop and write. Yes. Because a lot of times we are so, if you hear the walking in the background, that's Missy. That's my doggy. She just walked away. I would have showed you a picture of her. But if she comes back in here, because she's like my shadow, she's always up under me. But you have to get to a place where you stop worrying so much about the humdrum of everything that's going on around you. And you have to focus on staying in your lane, focusing on making your grass greener, focusing on, and I told this to a couple of people, but I just told this to somebody the other day. I said, you so focused on finishing the race, you haven't even put your sneakers on yet. Like, you already trying to get to the finish line. You don't have no shoes on. And so maybe you just need to, that first next step for you in preparing for the shift is all about just preparing. Put your shoes on, tie your shoes, make sure you have the right equipment, the right things in order for you to transition into that. Yes, stay in your lane. Focus on where you're supposed to be. It's like driving. How many of us are driving? I mean, most of us should be looking forward, but would you get anywhere if you continue either to look back or you're, looking at the person next to you? At some point, especially if you're on a highway, you're going to crash. And it's like life. Yes, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Sometimes you just have to be still to prepare. Absolutely. And so I'm feeling this in me. And so I've just learned that if I'm feeling some kind of way, I know that there are other people who are feeling this way, and I'm learning to just share it. Because sometimes you feel like, well, maybe I should wait until I'm out of the process. And God is really just teaching me that, no, you want to teach people while you're going along in the process so that they can be in the process with you. And so I want you to be in the process with me. I want you to be shifting while I'm shifting. I want you to be, being quiet while I'm being quiet. If you need to pull yourself off of social media, if somebody needs to find you, they'll find you. They'll get in contact with you. They know somebody who can get in contact with you. And social media is not, especially if you have a business, social media is not the only way that people can contact you. They can go to your website, they can email you, they can call you, and hopefully all of that information is on your website. And so we get so caught up on being social that we forget that we need to take some time to really get focused on what's important in our lives. And so, this overall uneasiness, a lot of times is about getting quiet. But the other part is that it's kind of like a peaceful uneasiness where you're getting ready to shift. A while ago, I created this little image on Canva, and I posted it, and it said the scariest thing about a shift is that it's coming, but you have no clue where you are shifting to or how God is going to do it. It is scary because you feel this shift. You feel that what you're doing now isn't working. You're not really sure why it's not working, but it's not working. And you're shifting into this next level of something, but you're not even really sure what that is. And so the last thing that I want to share with you, because I'm not even sure how many minutes I have on my phone. I won't say minutes, but I was already on 10% when I got on here. So I'm just going to go until maybe it tells me I'm at like 5%, but I'm not going to technically, I'm at 4%. So I'm going to like hang up in a minute. So thank you. Keep all of the hearts coming. Keep them all coming. Keep them coming. Go just do like this. We're going to get lots and lots and lots of hearts. Just double tap. If you don't know how to give me hearts, you just double tap. Just do like this with your finger. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so here's the deal. I just did my first live event on June 5th. It was called the I Speak Life Empowerment Experience for Women. And I did this event really because in my prayer time, and if you'll learn a little bit about me, that as a Christian, a lot of what I do is led by God. I don't force feed my spirituality and my beliefs on you, but how I live. You'll hear me talk about it a lot, and it's not to convert you or anything. However, we can definitely have that conversation because I think Jesus is the best thing since sliced bread and before that. But outside of that, a lot of how I operate is in prayer and the leading of the Holy Spirit. And so I was trying to do things that some other experts were doing. And I was like, okay, well, if it's working for them, then it's got to work for me. I'm going to do it this way and this. And can I just tell you that I was feeling really tense? And I've learned over the years to listen to my body. And so when I start to feel uneasy and I start to feel stress, like right around here and in my lower back, I start to recognize that it's not for me. And so I stopped doing it. I stopped doing that. And one day in prayer, God spoke to me about my event. And when I started planning my event and when I started putting stuff forward, can I tell you the stress it lifted. And I tell you that to say, and my event, I had 25 women there. Now, for some of you who've had events or you've never had an event, that's huge for a first event, for a first like live event where it's your event and you're speaking and you're not necessarily bringing other people in. There's some people who have events and nobody shows up, or they only have like 5 people. And so I know because I had 25 people, which was my minimum, I wanted to have between 25 and 50 women. Thanks Esther, I had 25 women there. I knew that that was God, and I knew that that was him telling me what I needed to do. And I'm telling you this as I close because I'm on 2% and I'm probably going to die in a minute. So I'm going to make this short. And I may come back after I charge up a little bit later. But I'm saying all that to say is take some time to get quiet. Take some time to hear from God or your quiet space. Get time to hear from your core, right? And really, 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 I'm so glad that you joined me, Marsha. And I'm so glad that this ministered to you. Take some time to get quiet and take some time to make sure that where you are is where you're supposed to be. Now, there is a difference between your uneasiness in this shifting season and an uneasiness because you're doing something that you have no business doing. And you have to be able to get quiet enough to be able to tell the difference between that. That is not something that I can teach you to do because you got to be able to feel it inside. And that's why I say it's so important for you to be able to shift internally before you shift externally, because you got to be able to trust your gut, trust what you feel, trust what you hear, that still small voice that when God is talking to you, see, confirmation, just finished praying about this. When God is talking to you, or when your spirit or your higher level, whoever it is that you pray to, is speaking to you, it will confirm what you are feeling. And you have to get to a place where you separate the whole idea of being so social, right? So social that you forget that you have to take time out to kind of be that introvert and really tap into what you need for your season and your lane. Right? We see what other people are doing and we think that it's supposed to work for us. And sometimes it just doesn't. I'm learning that my road is so different from other people's. And I think I prolong so many things because I'm trying to do what other people are doing. And God is not saying, I didn't call you to that. I didn't call you to that. And I didn't call you to do it. And so you have to recognize that there's some things that you haven't been called to do and some things you haven't just been called to, and be okay with it. Right? So I'm on 1%. I'm getting ready to leave. You are so welcome, Marsha. I'm going to hit you guys back up after I charge my phone. I'm going to maybe even see if I can get my charger because I'm feeling like I need to stay on. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can get this before my phone dies. Okay, so I had to pick it up because I had to connect it to the charger, but so that I could really stay on here. So I really feel, and I really want to stay on because I really want to encourage you. And here's the thing that I'm just going to share with you. Silently shifting to my lane. You are welcome, my love, Karima. Love you, boo. Here's the thing, like for me, I recognize that my brand is an inspirational empowerment and a motivational brand. And so I don't necessarily do what all of the other people do. I know that I have a spiritual call in my life, and I know that my job is really to speak life and speak truth into you, to speak life into you, to speak life into those dead places in your life and in your business and all of the other kind of stuff you have going on. I'm not a business coach, and I don't even really, I think I'm actually getting comfortable with the fact that I'm not even a life coach. I'm really just here to speak life into you and to really push you, to be a catalyst to push you into your greatness. And I'm learning that, and I'm getting comfortable with that because there's so much stuff out there that we sometimes feel like we have to be what everybody else wants us to be. And the reality is that God called you to be who he called you to be. And when you walk in that, things will start to open up. When you step into that, things will start to open up. And a lot of times the shift comes when you get tired of being who other people think you're supposed to be, and you transition and shift into who you were called to be, and really into being who you've already been all this time. Because here's the deal. You're becoming who you've always been. When you were born, your purpose never changed from who God created you to be. You just kind of got off track because everybody else thought that you were supposed to be something that they thought you were supposed to be. And guess what? People do what they want because they love you, right? You told him today, I'm tired. And he probably says, you know what? You're tired because you're probably doing everything but what I told you to do, right? Because you're trying to do what everybody else wants you to do. There's all of this stuff out there that really, really looks good, and it looks all juicy and everything. And the reality is that it's not for us. You have to stay true to who he is called you to be. Everything, tired for everything, right? And so, Marsha, I'm going to be praying that God sends peace to you, that God gives you, I'm glad that you're loving this, Michelle, going global. I'm glad that I'm able to speak to you, Marsha, because here's the thing. When we finally decide to walk in, keep those hearts coming. I want just hearts, just continued hearts. Because here's the thing, as you give me hearts and people see those hearts, I want those hearts to represent power and love that we're sending to everybody who's on this feed. I want you to give hearts, not for me, but to everybody else. I want you to send love to everybody who's on this feed. So if you can double tap, I want you to double tap, because here's the deal. Praying for your trip to Cuba, praying for traveling mercies, praying that God will bless you, praying that that it will be a life-changing experience for you, that your light will shine so that men will see your works and glorify God who is in heaven. And that more importantly, that not only your life will be changed, but somebody else's life will be changed because of you. So I'm praying that, when you come back, you'll have a testimony to share about your experience in Cuba. Okay. But I'm also praying for you, Marsha, because I'm believing that in you being tired, you're tired of this rat race. You're tired of doing what other people want you to do. You're tired of living this life, this tiresome life that to some extent, the flesh wants, but the spirit is yearning for something else. And so I'm just praying that God will speak to you and God will give you what you need. I will definitely, Dimitri, and that God will give you what you need. But more importantly, I hear God saying, get quiet. Get quiet and write everything you hear. Get quiet and write everything you hear. Such a blessing. Sounds like where I am in my life. You just said a mouthful. Purpose living. I'm so glad you joined me, honey. I'm not a life coach. Yes, and stop. Yes, stop. And here's the deal. He'll tell you, just like he told me, off social media for 7 days. And here's the deal. I was in such peace. And I've actually had to make myself get back on social media. Like, I'm getting back into the swing of things. Like, while I was off my 7-day break, I had an opportunity to write, a change agent, a world changer, right? A catalyst, right? Not necessarily a life coach. Like, I didn't feel like that was what I was. Like, I'm coaching you, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm a life coach. I'm not even really, I know what it is. God gave me, my title is a life purpose generator. For me, I generate purpose back into your life. That's what I do. I speak life back into you. And so, I just feel like, we're in a phase and we're in this day where we're just trying to be all of these things to all of these people who, to some extent, don't really matter. We need to really get back to what matters, doing what matters, doing what we care about, doing what we love, and doing what we're good at. My thing is, if you're good at it and you're a beast at it, do it. And who cares what other people say? Who cares what other people think? Because here's the thing. Some people are just going to give you their opinion based on the level that they're at, which means that the level that they're at or the level that they're on may not necessarily be the level that you're on. People don't have an understanding. I shared this at my event. Actually, for the first time, I had this conversation with my husband, but my mom was there, and I've actually gotten to the point where I've become a lot more transparent with her. Love you, Purpose Living 8. Thanks for the pound poo. Boo. But I shared this example at my event, and I said, we were out in one of the neighborhoods where there's like these, $1 million houses, $500,000 houses in our neighborhood. And I always do that. My husband and I always drive through these neighborhoods because in my mind, I've always said I'm going to live in one of these houses. I'm going to, build my own house. And I don't have any problem living in $1 million house and having somebody clean it and take care of it and all that other kind of stuff, because I know that my purpose is to inspire and to motivate and be a catalyst to help you to live the way you need to live. And so at any rate, my mom was out there, and she's old school. She's kind of, anything about rich dad, poor dad, she's the poor dad mentality, where you got to get a job, you got to go to work, you got to, work for 100 million years, and then get your pension, all that kind of stuff. Well, we're driving in the area, and she says, well, to have one of these kind of houses, you got to have a state job. State job? I'm not trying to have no state job. And so before I even said it, I said, Mom, I'm not even gonna dignify that with an answer. I said, because mentally you're not even there yet. I said that to my mom, right? Hey, Relentless, checking in from Charlotte. Hey, one of my BFFs and one of my line sisters, she's in Charlotte. So hey there. But yes, I had to. And I shared this event there, and I asked my mom, and I said, Mom, do you remember that? And she said, yeah. She says, I do. And so as I was sharing that to them, to the group of women, what I said is that not only am I going to have $1 million house, but I'm not going to be working no state job to have it either. And so, and my purpose for saying that is that my mom, she meant well. She meant well. She didn't mean any harm. She didn't say anything like, you ain't never going to live in this kind of house. Well, what makes you think that you're worthy enough to, we didn't have that kind of conversation, because my mom does believe in me. She believes in me enough to encourage me, but her level of mindset and mentality was not that of knowing that there are people who do not work state jobs, who are making millions and millions upon millions of dollars, and they are living in $1 million houses. And so maybe you just have to stop listening to people who have a poor dad mentality and start associating with people who have a rich dad mentality. Up-leveling your mindset, up-leveling your environment, up-leveling, your emotions, being able to, Gui Castro, up-leveling who you are and who you desire to be. And let me just tell you, I'm going to just be transparent here. And my teeth are so white and perfect. Thank you. Okay, so that was a little distraction. But for me, I am afraid of rejection. I do not like to be rejected. I do not like the word no. And I will say that part of that has been the reason why my business probably has not catapulted the way most people think it should have. Because I'm just going to be honest with you. When I'm in my element, I'm a beast. I know that. And that's not cockiness. It's that I know what I'm all about. You know what I'm saying? I'm confident in my gifts and my abilities. However, I don't always like being told no. And so, because I don't like being told no, I don't always push myself to do the things that I need to do in that area, which means that sometimes when I'm in an area where there are people where there might be millionaires, or where there are people who actually could be where I need to be to up-level my business, I sometimes shrink down. And that's, I think, another reason why God has had me quiet, because he's been talking to me about boldness. He's been talking to me about staying focused and staying in my lane and being obedient to the things that he's giving me to do. Because as I do the things that he's telling me to do, is he real? Absolutely. And we can have a conversation about that at another time, Terry, but God is absolutely real, boo. But I just stopped because I just had somebody else ask me that question. So I know that it's God that I'm on this platform. The subject here that we're talking about, Gui, is I'm actually talking about recognizing your shift. And we've actually just transitioned to, in recognizing your shift, recognizing that sometimes you have to quiet yourself in order to recognize the shift and in order to recognize what's going on within you so that you can shift to that place that you need to be to up level in your life. And it couldn't necessarily be, it could be a shift in your marriage. It could be a shift in, And because Terry is asking me, do I wear a cross? No, I don't feel like I should have to wear a cross. My life should exemplify Christ, but maybe you're shifting in your spirituality. Maybe you're shifting in your spiritual life. You are up leveling spiritually where God is taking you to a higher level. You're shifting in your finances. Maybe, the way that you're doing things now, you need to shift the way that you're doing them, so that you can up level. So maybe you got to shift from, $100 mindset to $1,000 mindset, and then $1,000 mindset to a $10,000 mindset, and then from a $10,000 mindset to a $100,000 mindset. Maybe you're shifting your health. Maybe the way that you're taking care of yourself is not, up leveling. And maybe you're not taking care of yourself the way you need to be, and so you got to up level or shift so that you can do that. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. But you have to recognize the uneasiness that's taking place. You have to recognize, don't feel dumb. I believe that, God has given you gifts and talents and abilities for you to be able to tap into. And so the fact that you feel dumb probably means that you haven't tapped into the gift that God has given you. But none of us are dumb. You just have to tap into, shift and up level your level of understanding and the people around you who don't necessarily pull you down, but pull you up. Okay. But absolutely, Karima. So, I'm Brazilian. This is so good to practice. Absolutely. So, if you guys are loving this, give me some more hearts. I want to see some hearts right here. Hearts, 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 hearts. You like my singing? Hearts. So, oh, you know what? I gotta get off in a couple of minutes. I gotta go pick my baby up. He has a half day of school today, at camp, in actually like 15 minutes. So I'm actually really gonna sign off in a couple of minutes. So I am, your green today. Oh, thank you for the green hearts, Marsha. You're the bomb.com, boo. So as I close, and I think I'm just gonna get in the habit of doing this, I just want to pray. And I want to make sure that whoever is listening to this or whoever listens to the recording, is covered regarding this shift. And so if you're not, I didn't really talk a little bit about who I am, and I'll talk a little bit about that on my next one. But make sure that if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you go to my website. It's trueheartspeaks.com. Trueheartspeaks.com. It's TrueheartSpeaks.com, and sign up for my VIP list. I'm actually creating some new freebies, some audios that I'm going to be releasing. I'm actually going to be doing some paid audios and some free audios. And so you want to get on my list because my list is already, I think we are friends, Marsha, on Facebook. And so you want to get on my list so that you can get those. My VIP list is always the first to get the stuff that I have. And I'm actually getting back into the swing of things of writing. And so I'm going to be writing more blogs, and I want to make sure that you get those as well. But more importantly, I just want to stay connected to you. And so even though maybe we may not always be connected on Periscope, I want you definitely to be connected with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all of those. I actually also have a YouTube page. I'm looking to do more videos. And for me, my shift is really getting focused on operating in my empowerment, in my my inspirational and my motivational brand, and doing what comes naturally to me. And that's speaking life into you and whatever else God tells me to do. Okay. And so as I close, yes, I have started. The last one I did upload on YouTube. So actually, if you missed, hey Danielle, my brand coach, Rich Girl Business brand coach just joined, and I'm actually getting ready to leave. So I hated that you missed this, Danielle, but you can actually listen to the replay when we're done, but keep the hearts coming. Oh, my shift is on Periscope. So I think it's not 24 hours yet. So you might be able to get it. But if not, go to my YouTube page. Just look up Trueheart Speaks or Detra Trueheart on YouTube, and it should pop up. So at this point, I am going to close out, and I'm going to pray because I believe that there are some people on here who are either listening to the recording or who are watching this, who are shifting and up leveling to their next level, whether it's life, business, spiritual, mental, emotional, whatever it might be. And I want to be in agreement with you that you are in the right place of where God wants you to be, more importantly, and that you are effective in that area of your greatness and your area of your juiciness. You'll find that juicy is my new word, in that area of juiciness, so that you can be to whoever your tribe is that you need to be. One of the things I also teach is that there is a group of people who is assigned to you, who your message, your story, your experiences, they are assigned specifically to you. Guy, I don't know if it's Goy or Guy, but I'm actually and I just said that I'm not a life coach, but technically my title is a life purpose generator. I'm a speaker, a consultant, and a coach. And basically really what I do is I speak life into people. I speak truth to the hearts of women and leaders, really to help you to live in and on purpose, to live your best life. And so as I close this Periscope, I just want to pray really quickly. Most holy and gracious Father, Lord, I just thank you for this day. I thank you, oh God, for an opportunity, oh God, just to minister and be able to share with your people on Periscope. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to impart life into them, to be able to encourage them, to be able to inspire them, to be able to motivate them, to be a catalyst, not only for change, but a catalyst for purpose. You've placed purpose in every single one of us, God, and you have put us here for a purpose. Just like the chair that I'm sitting on has purpose, the people who are watching this and listening to this, they have purpose. And so, God, I'm just grateful to you. I'm grateful to your son who died, that we have life. I'm grateful, oh God, so that you would get the glory out of everything that we're doing. I ask, Father, that those who are heavy, who are feeling discouraged, who are feeling the shift and the uneasiness and the discomfort of the shift, that you would reassure them that they are in the right place, that you would reassure them that they're not out of place, maybe out of place of where they're coming from, but you're positioning them for the place that they're going. Maybe they don't fit where they were and they don't fit where they are, but you're preparing them for where they're going. And so, Father, I just ask that your love will comfort them, your peace will comfort them, your joy would comfort them, and that you would just reassure them, God, that they have been created for such a time as this, that they are needed, that like Terry, they're not dumb, but they're smart, that they're intelligent, that they're wise, and that more importantly, that they have a purpose here on this earth right now, today, because there's somebody who needs to be able to see and feel and experience their light. And so, God, on this day, I just ask that you would cover them, that you, oh God, would bless them, oh God, and more importantly, reassure them that they do have a purpose here on this earth. In Jesus' name, amen. So I love you guys. I'm going to try to check in a little bit later. I'm going to head out because I only got about 10 minutes before I go pick my son up from school. And I pray that this was a blessing. If you missed it, make sure you, I just went blank. Make sure you check out the replay for 24 hours. And then more importantly, make sure that you are following me on Periscope so that as I jump on, you'll get those notifications. So you guys have a fabulous day. You are welcome, Marsha. Hopefully we can connect via Facebook or even on the telephone or something. And if I can be of service to you, just let me know. I'm definitely transitioning my business and everything, to offer. And I don't even really know if I want to offer them coaching services because I don't know if they're coaching services anymore, but to really empowerment services, I think maybe I want to call them. But more importantly, I just want to make sure that I'm of service to you guys and that I can service you in the best way that I know how. So, I look forward to hearing from you, Marsha. You guys have an awesome and a blessed day. And until next time, always remember, to thine own self be true, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Talk to you soon. Bye.